Hello, Commanders, and welcome back to Elite Dangerous Journey Across the Galaxy. We are continuing on our journey towards Beagle Point. We did complete our initial phase, heading towards the big, massive, supermassive black hole at the center of the galaxy, Sagittarius A star. And based off of viewership, we decided to continue on towards Beagle Point, and then ultimately, when we get enough funds, we'll buy a fleet carrier and do some deep space exploration that way. If you're a continuing viewer of the channel, you will find it interesting that we are kind of starting this episode off a little bit differently. I am already in space and moving around. There is a reason for that, and it is because in the last episode, you will have noticed that I kind of crashed my spaceship. Not enough to completely. Oh, I don't even know how many bodies were in here. I was too busy talking. Not enough to completely destroy it. I didn't like spawn back at the station or anything, but we were close enough to the station by the time that happened that I decided to just go ahead and fly back and get some repairs done, because going all the way out there to Beagle Point with 70% health on my armor, it was just on my hull, is not a good idea. So we were only 11 jumps into the journey at that point, so I decided, let me go back, repair, get all stocked back up again, kind of reset my mind and get a little bit more focused on paying attention to what we're doing, remembering that we have a very long journey and that flying a little bit too aggressively near the ground is not a good idea. And so yeah, there's that. So if you're new to the series, we typically hop into a system, check the system map to see if anybody has scanned it so far, hop into the full spectrum system scanner looking for Earth-like worlds, ammonia worlds, and water worlds. You can see those down there at the bottom right. And then if there are any of those there, we definitely go to scan those. Otherwise, we decide if there's 15 bodies in a system or less, we check all of them for biological signals. When we find a planet with biological signals, you can see up there in the top right of the screen where it says features, it says none right now. If we find that one that says biological, we are looking for a body that has at least 2, because that will provide us with enough variance to make sure we're not just going to get bacteria. So we're going to go ahead and scan through this system real quick. All right, so there's one biological, but it's going to be just a bacteria. They all have at least a bacteria on there. We need to keep looking and hope that we can find one that has at least 2. If we find one with at least 2, then we know that at least there'll be something, marginally easier to spot from the air than that. There's no valuable planets here. We already determined that. Okay, so we'll do this here, and we'll just keep scanning around and hope that we can find what we're looking for. So we have one more body to find. Unfortunately, it's unlikely that it's going to be a biologic. All right, so we'll keep on moving. Get ourselves realigned and move on to the next system. And this is basically what we're doing for the entire. This is basically what the mechanics of the entire series are. And I think people just come and watch because they like to listen to talking.
4, 3, 2, 1, engage.
Off we go. Sorry, I'm responding to a message. People still message me while I'm recording. So, yeah, we'll hop into the system and see. Got to be a little bit more careful, I think, because that didn't go very well. If you watched the last episode, I slammed into the ground, harder than I would like. I wasn't being, very reckless, but sometimes I lose track of how fast I'm moving. Okay, let's check this out. So that's all of the asteroid belts there. So go over here and check this out. Nothing there. Nothing on that one. Okay, I'm confused. Okay. So no features on that one. Just that's all basically all we're doing. I try to. Oh, come on. Stop playing with me. I kind of wish that at the very least they had made it so that you could just, instead of having to use your mouse to go lock into these, you could just press the left and right keys and cycle between these. Like the radar on your, I'm saying again a lot. So we need I want at least 2. I'm really looking for at least 2. there's one here. But it would be nice if you could just cycle your way through it. The best way to do it would be if everything, when you did your system, your what is it called, the discovery scanner, and just a full list of unknown bodies popped up, and then you could just click on each one, and then the system did a quick scan of it for you, and then you get information based off of that. I'm not a fan of the FSS mini game that they decided to create. It takes a lot of, I don't mind, it needs to take time, I understand that. I just wish that they had made it a little bit more user-friendly rather than requiring me to manually go through and zoom in on these things. That should not be something I'm required to do. Alright, so there's too many bodies in this belt for us to bother scanning everything, so we'll just check for, you know, the water world that's here. That's a gas giant, but there is a water world in the system somewhere, so we just gotta locate it real fast, hopefully. Looks like it's pretty close to, and it's the only one. So we'll target it and start making our way towards it. Oh, we gotta Super Cruise assist, get ourselves locked onto the target there, and advance. Alright. Get our scan done, move on to the next system. I had to pick a shorter destination for this one because there's so many stars in this part of the galaxy that plotting routes any further than, you know, 100 or so jumps was just a lot. So I picked something relatively close, so that way, because it kept getting stuck at 55% every time I tried to plot a route. And I needed to find something that was a little bit shorter so I didn't have to keep getting stuck on that. Hopefully once we reach this destination, I'll be able to plot something much further out and we'll be able to cover a little bit more ground per route. 7 probes, so we need to fire 7 or less probes to get the efficiency score for, or the efficiency bonus for scanning this planet. All that means is you just shoot 6 or less of these probes to get the full coverage, which is generally pretty easy to do.
Frameshift drive charging.
Don't need to wait for the scan to come in. By the time we are ready to jump, the scan will have already been finished, and we'll be able to move on.
4, 3, 2,
1, mostly just trying to record some episodes for my weekend. Tomorrow and the next day are my weekend.
Fuel sweeping complete. Frameshift drive charging.
No sense in doing anything as the system was already complete. Sorry, I'm being very distracted because somebody important is trying to have a conversation with me right now. They never talk to me through most of the day, and then I sit down to try to record, and all of a sudden they want to have a long, extended conversation with me. And it's just always the way it seems to work. So I'm not able to focus on what I'm doing here for the video. I'm having to divide my attention, and it's really distracting me. So I apologize for that. Not much I can do about it. It's not a person I can ignore. So you gotta do what you gotta do. Nothing valuable here, and way too many bodies to keep going, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the next one. It's good to see that the developers are not giving up on the game entirely. Apparently, they have been developing some things, and they've already stated that they plan on supporting the game for at least the next several years. at least as far as keeping the servers up. I'd really like to see more investment from them, but given the financial situation that they're in, expecting that from them is a little much. And then, unfortunately, the Elite Dangerous is kind of in that catch-22 situation where there's no way out for it, as far as like trying to find a better path forward. The game doesn't make them enough money to invest. The game doesn't make them enough money, and and the fan base isn't happy enough with it to justify, doing another expansion or anything. But it doesn't make so little money that they're willing to give up the continuing revenue that they still make from it through their in-game store or whatever. So unfortunately, it's just kind of stuck in that limbo state where they're not going to get rid of it because it's a revenue stream for them, and they're not going to sell it. Or they're not going to sell it because it's a revenue stream for them. Where is this thing? And that revenue stream is making it so. Oh, it's right here. That revenue stream is making it so that they won't just let it die. Like if the game was doing terribly, like if nobody was willing to buy any of their stuff, they weren't making any money off of it at all. Oh, that was way far. That's way far away. Anyways, so we're not going after that. If the game was just not making them any money, they'd probably be willing to sell it to a studio, to a developer that would be willing to actually put the time and effort into it and had the resources to revive the game and actually make it something great. But the game is unfortunately stuck in that spot where the developers need it for the money, and so they're not going to sell it, but it's not making them enough money to actually invest in it. So we're all just kind of left out in the cold on it. It really sucks. Really sucks. There's really and there's no there's no convincing them to change it. There's like the only way that the game is ever going to change is if everybody just stops providing them with any kind of income from it. Like we have to convince them to give it up, because they're never going to invest the money into it, at least not anywhere in the next reasonable amount of time. It's going to be years before they fix their financial situation enough to take a risk on developing an expansion for this thing. So, we as the player base have to either accept the fact that it's a dead game and it's never going to go anywhere, or we have to, force them to kill it and sell it off to somebody else who can actually do something with it. And the only way that happens is if nobody makes any more purchases and they're just not able to do anything with it anymore. Because until that safety net of revenue stream goes away, with the ARC store or whatever other things that they have where people are continuing to spend money on the store, or whatever other things that they're using. I'm not really sure what all the different revenue streams they have for this game. I have to imagine that the in-game store that they're using is what's really funding most of what they have going on now. Random people buying the game, paying for the expansions and things like that. I'm sure that's a massive revenue stream in short bursts, but long-term ongoing sales are probably just people buying trinkets for their ships and things like that, and convincing an entire player base to just stop paying them for anything just isn't going to happen. You're not going to get that kind of solidarity amongst the player base where you say, look, either you guys sell this product to somebody who's going to do something, or we're going to stop giving you any kind of money at all. Because if you guys don't care enough about the game to actually do anything with it, then you don't deserve to have it anymore. That's my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. How many bodies? It was 8 bodies. So we'll definitely scan this system. I feel, my personal opinion is that, especially with a beloved franchise like what we have, like Elite Dangerous. That's not a franchise. Elite Dangerous is not a franchise. The Elite brand is a franchise, but I feel like this game has the bones and potential to be really amazing, and we need to have people in there that can actually do this stuff, preferably free from corporate drones who want to suck every possible cent out of it, rather than actually making a game that's good. So, I don't know. That's my 2 cents on the whole thing. I know I get on here and I complain sometimes about individual mechanics of the game and things like that, but for the most part, this game is really good. There's a reason why I and many others keep coming back to it over the years. It just, it's just kind of depressing to know that it could be something much more than it is, and it's just never going to be because of greed. And it's, you know, it's just, that's the way the world works.
System scan complete.
Money talks and bullshit walks, and that's the way of it. And the only way you can affect change is to take your dollar somewhere else.
Disengaged. Frameshift drive charging.
And there's, you know, too many people aren't willing to do that. Sometimes you just have to let something die. Sometimes the way forward is to let something die, risk it never coming back, and hoping that maybe something, maybe forcing a change will actually make something happen. But it's only the people who continue to invest in the game that can make that happen. And that's going to be players. And I guess, I don't want to say I'm just as guilty. I haven't spent money on this game since, I don't even know. I bought Odyssey a little while after, like a year after it came out, because I wanted to try it, and that was kind of the final nail in the coffin for me as far as spending money on the game. So like I said, the only reason I even popped back into this game was because I was going to get the free ARX bucks or whatever, the free ARX that they give out during the Christmas period. And yeah, so the only reason I popped back in was because I was going to get that for free. I'm not going to spend my own money supporting a game that the developers don't even... With a company. I know the ooh, okay. How far away? It's pretty close. We'll go ahead and grab that. I know that the developers, the people who actually work on the game day to day, they care about it, but the company itself does not. And when you're dealing with people like that who place money over quality, then, you know, there's no reasoning with those kinds of people. The only thing they care about is putting money in their own pocket, and they don't care about inspiring anybody or, you know, impressing anybody or any of that stuff. Features of a game are not as important to them as dollars in their pocket, regardless of how rich they are. And, you know, I can understand that to some degree. Rich people get rich because they think that way, and they stay rich because they think that way. I have a hard time with it because... Obviously, I've never been rich, so I've never had to worry about it. But at the same time, I don't really have much of a desire to be rich, because if that's how you have to be rich, I don't really want it. I want to have just enough money to kind of live my life and enjoy a few things that are important to me, and that's basically all I want. Why do I need all that stress in my life where I'm constantly going to be worrying about money? I want to get to the part where I don't have to worry about money anymore, and I can live the kind of life that I want to live, and then I don't really need anything else after that. So, I don't know. This isn't the first time I've said it, and it definitely won't be the last time I've said it. But I think a lot of people, based off of their opinion of the Frontier developments, would probably agree agree with me when I say I wish they would sell the property to somebody else who's going to do something with it. But as I've already stated, not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. All right, so we'll get in here. We'll grab a scan of an ammonia world, so that'll be pretty nice. Got ourselves, we're getting pretty close to the end of an episode, and because I'm kind of recording for my weekend right now, so I'm actually going to do 2 episodes in a row. I don't think we're going to bother landing once we get into that 20-ish minute mark. I think I'm going to go ahead and, as a matter of fact, I think we're going to scan this planet, line up for the next one, and then go ahead and call this an episode, because I'm not really trying to have extended episodes right now, but that's kind of a cool looking ring planet. I like that one. So yeah, we'll grab this scan. We'll go ahead and call it good for this episode. It's there. I wonder what it is about ammonia worlds that make them so valuable. What can you get out of ammonia that's going to make it? Whoa. Okay. We need to... I didn't realize it was a ringed planet. I was only halfway paying attention. You know what I was supposed to do? I should have stayed kind of on with it because it's very difficult to scan that way. Let me come back around. We'll give ourselves a little bit of space, and then I'll try to line back up because the rings get in the way. They will stop you from getting full scans of what you're trying to get. So let me see if I can reposition myself in a way that's going to allow me to get flat on with the rings and then actually get... Okay, here we go. Yeah. Okay. That should allow us to get a full scan. If my mouse would stay inside of my game window. Here we go. So, hold on. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then because I had to be slightly off on all of this stuff, I just want to double check and make sure.
Surface scanned by 50%.
Yeah, I think we're good. All right, cool.
Surface scan complete.
So, anyways, hopefully you guys had lots of fun. Be sure to click that like button so the YouTube algorithm knows that you did and sends the video out to more viewers. If you are not subscribed, please consider doing so now so that when the next video comes out, it will show up in your feed and you will be able to watch the video as soon as it becomes available. Channel members do get early access to all of my videos, so be sure to click that join button and check out the various membership tiers that are available and decide if any of those are right for you. Your support would be greatly appreciated. Again, thank you very much for your time, and I hope to see you for the next one.